What's up everyone and welcome back to the MMA Fast. Today, let's get started with Sean O'Malley made an important statement to Islam Makhachev. Sean O'Malley thinks a fight between Islam Makhachev and Ilia Topuria would be the highest display of mixed martial arts. Makhachev and Topuria have been on a collision course for the past year, but now find themselves as champions in different weight classes. Topuria relinquished his featherweight title, then knocked out Charles Oliveira to claim the vacant lightweight belt. Meanwhile, Makhachev vacated his lightweight belt and dominated Jack Della Maddalena Saturday at UFC 322 to capture the welterweight title. Topuria continued to poke at Makhachev, and O'Malley expects it to be a tightly contested matchup if it ever happens. I'm so curious to see if Islam could do this to Ilia. Ilia matches that skill set, and I just feel like it would be a lot closer of a fight than Jack versus Islam was. That's the fight they have to make. That's the fight they should have made this time, but they didn't. Islam got the job done. I want to see Ilia win his next fight just so we can see Islam versus Ilia. That would be the biggest, most skillful fight of all time. It would honestly be hard to beat. I don't see who Islam doesn't do this to in that division. We haven't really seen Ilia get tested in the grappling. Bryce Mitchell is a very high-level grappler, and Ilia handled that. Ilia would be significantly smaller in height. They're going to look different, but Ilia's skill set is so high. There are a couple of people in MMA who have that skill set who can do everything: strike, wrestle, and jiu-jitsu. Both those guys have it. In that sense, maybe size does come in. Daniel Cormier still sees championship potential in Bo Nickal after UFC 322. Daniel Cormier thinks Bo Nickal is back on track in his path of pursuing UFC gold. Nickal rebounded from his first career loss to Renier de Ridder with a big head kick knockout of Rodolfo Vieira in Saturday's UFC 322 featured prelim at Madison Square Garden. Bo Nickal had one of the nastiest head kick knockouts. It was exactly what that kid needed after losing his first fight. So many people were ready to write him off. He proved that not only should you not write him off, but he's getting better. He set that head kick up beautifully. They're doing some great work with Bo down at American Top Team, and Bo does still look like one of the American-born guys that could potentially be a world champion. Prior to the de Ridder loss, Nickal received criticism for his lackluster decision win over Paul Craig at UFC 309. The 29-year-old has been the betting favorite for every one of his UFC fights. Belal Muhammad plans to beat Ian Machado Garry in unexpected fashion. Belal Muhammad knows it's going to take more than the average victory against Ian Machado Garry at UFC Fight Night 265 to put himself back at the top of the ever-evolving welterweight title landscape. It's a critical contest for Muhammad, who dropped the belt to Jack Della Maddalena at UFC 315 in May, before the Aussie turned it over to Makhachev this past weekend. He wants back in the mix and said he came to terms with the reasons for his loss to Della Maddalena and how he will progress forward. For myself, there's guys that can lose a fight, and they give excuses and look for reasons why. Then the next fight they'll lose again because the excuse was a lie to yourself. They're lying to themselves. So for me, it's we had to refocus. We had to readjust and see what went wrong, what didn't go wrong. We've just got to outwork our last camp. This camp was our best camp, and this Saturday is going to show it. For Muhammad, there's only one way to make the statement he's looking for. That's to put away Machado Garry in a highlight reel manner. He broke down exactly how that will happen, and given Machado Garry has never been finished, it's a bold prediction. Honestly, for me, I think Ian is going to try to run around this whole first round, but then by the end of the first round, his little point jabbing is not going to work. Then I'm going to grab a hold of him, I'm going to take him down, then I'm going to let him back up, just because I'm going to show him. I could take you down if I want to. Then I'm going to outbox him because he said he could outstrike me. He's a pretty striker. He's been in there with great strikers. He's been in there with MVP, he's been in there with Shavkat, he's been in there with Carlos, and none of those guys finished him. So for me, it's finishing him on the feet and reminding everybody who I am. Kamaru Usman compares Islam Makhachev to Colby Covington in UFC 322 post-fight reaction. Makhachev sits atop the stacked welterweight division with his performance, and has no shortage of potential contenders ready to challenge the new champion, one of which is former title holder Kamaru Usman, who was Makhachev's call-out target immediately after UFC 322. Makhachev and Usman have a respectful yet competitive relationship ahead of their likely title fight, but that hasn't stopped Kamaru from mirroring Islam with his all-time biggest rival. During a recent episode of the Pound for Pound podcast, Kamaru made a striking comparison between Islam and his two-time rival Colby Covington. I almost feel like if there are guys like myself and Islam in the division, you almost feel like if Carlos was the champion, what happened to Jack Della Maddalena is bound to happen to Carlos. Someone could do that to them. When I look at a guy like Islam, I don't really see holes in his game, and that's something that scares me. And that's when you see some of the most spectacular performances. The last time I felt that was against Colby Covington. Kamaru defeated Covington twice in their legendary UFC careers, with a 5th-round TKO at UFC 245 and a unanimous decision victory at UFC 268. Sean Brady reacts to UFC 322 loss. Sean Brady is keeping his head high after UFC 322. Brady was finished by round 1 TKO in his welterweight matchup against Michael Morales Saturday at Madison Square Garden. Taking on an undefeated Morales after a dominant finish of former champion Leon Edwards was a risky move by Brady, but the Philadelphia native wouldn't have it any other way. He opened up on the loss in an Instagram statement. "First of all, I just want to say that I am healthy and doing fine. This sport comes with the highest highs and the lowest lows, but I wouldn't have it any other way. I'm living my dream every single day. I open my eyes, and this loss won't change that. Thank you to my beautiful family, my team, my friends, sponsors, and everyone who supports me. It means the world. This is just another lesson on my journey. I'll be back to training and getting back on the horse sooner rather than later." Brady saw his 3-fight winning streak snapped by Morales. His only other career loss came against former champion Belal Muhammad. Alexander Volkanovski made a statement to Islam Makhachev. Alexander Volkanovski thinks UFC welterweight champion Islam Makhachev is calling out the sternest test in the division. A plethora of 170-pound contenders await, with both Michael Morales and Carlos Prates scoring statement-winning knockouts at UFC 322. However, Makhachev remains interested in a legacy fight against former champion Kamaru Usman, who Volkanovski sees as the toughest challenge. Islam is going to be a problem in that division. You've got Morales who wants to fight. He's grabbing a hold of Morales' leg straight away, and then you're going to see how good his grappling is. Who is going to give Islam problems? Usman's there. Usman could be a problem. We've seen how he did well against Khamzat Chimaev as well, and he doesn't take unnecessary risks. He's smart, so I think Usman will be Islam's toughest challenge. He won't take any unnecessary risk, can stick to a game plan. Coach John Kavanagh shares insight into Conor McGregor's comeback camp. UFC superstar Conor McGregor recently kicked off a 7-month camp to potentially return on the UFC's White House card. It's been more than 5 years since Conor McGregor last fought inside the UFC octagon. A leg injury suffered in his trilogy bout with Dustin Poirier at UFC 264 put McGregor's championship hopes to a screeching halt. McGregor was supposed to return at UFC 303 last year against Michael Chandler, before suffering a toe injury just weeks before the fight. Despite hinting at a prolonged hiatus, McGregor was among the first to throw his name into the mix to headline the UFC's upcoming card on the White House lawn. Since McGregor announced his comeback plans, fans are skeptical of his sincerity after flip-flopping on fighting numerous times in his career. But according to his longtime coach John Kavanagh, McGregor's latest comeback attempt appears to be the most genuine. On our end, we're 100% in. He's asked me to basically lay out a program between now and June on how we'll ramp up our training. He's showing up again. He's back in the gym most mornings. Early, he's having fun with it. Tasked me with putting together a team of suitable training partners. He's fully locked in that we're going to be making the walk. If it's Conor's choice, he's in. McGregor is searching for his first UFC victory since a TKO win over Donald Cerrone at UFC 246. He's lost 3 of his last 4 fights overall, including a loss to Khabib at UFC 229. While it remains to be seen how much McGregor has left in the tank, it appears his plans for 2026 are genuine.